First I parked the car, then I slid through a fence. I made my way through the forest until I came upon an off-road bike path. That quickly led me down to Soldiers Creek and the busy State Road 419. Walking across 419 was out of the question, but thankfully I'm not the first person with this problem. Soldiers Creek is so shallow underneath the road that there have been stepping stones laid out for whatever random foot traffic may pass through. I had my eyes on the prize as I came back out into the open, CSX's Aloma branch and the archaic bridge that takes it over the creek. This is my favorite place in Central Florida to watch trains, and I was in for a treat as local number A766 crept over. Although I had a late start, the slow speed of the Aloma branch allowed just enough time to set up for my favorite shot. This is the return trip north of A766, having just finished switching a couple industries at the end of the line. Nicknamed the Aloma Local, it's a pretty hard train to find, running only twice weekly and along some of the most uncharted tracks in the area. Despite the odds, this is my favorite operation to chase in Central Florida, as the Aloma branch offers superb rural and residential trackside scenery. Beginning in CSX's Rand Yard in Sanford, the Aloma branch peels off the A-line through Amtrak's Auto Train facility and towards Pebble Junction. Pebble Junction swings the line south through the Spring Hammock Preserve and towards the end of the line near Winter Springs. Dead-ending in a scrapyard, the 7-mile Aloma branch is a little less than half its original length. Back in the day, it was rated for 35 miles an hour and stretched all the way to, you guessed it, Aloma. Aside from the twice-weekly A766, what's left of the Aloma branch has practically been forgotten. The tracks are in pretty bad shape, warranting a branch-wide 10-mile-an-hour speed limit. That makes for easy chases, however, as I had plenty of time to wait in the Spring Hammock Preserve. The preserve is your typical hot, alligator-infested Florida swampland. Train watching or not, I always love finding classic scenes like this, and the presence of A766 totally sealed the deal. Today's train was pulled by two of CSX's rebuilt GP40-3s, numbers 6552 and 6526. Both engines trace their roots back to CSX predecessors, with the 6552 coming from the Baltimore and Ohio, and the 6526 from the seaboard coastline. Funnily enough, the Aloma line was once owned by the SCL until the CSX merger of 1986. CSX is the line's sixth owner, dating back to the East Florida and Atlantic Railway Company in the late 1800s. Nearing downtown Sanford, the tracks enter a heavy residential area for half a mile or so. It's a really cool part of town where the tracks quite literally go through residents' front and backyards. With the storm building behind it, 766 looked awesome as it poked its way through the neighborhood. After stopping to flag a crossing down the way, 766 continues on towards Rand Yard to finish the day off. On the days that 766 doesn't run the Aloma branch, it usually goes north along the A line, acting as a road switcher. I was in town the next day on the north end of Rand Yard, just as A766 was pulling out onto the main. One empty scrap car for DeLand, one loaded center beam for Seville, and 13 loaded rock hoppers for Conrad Yelvington's Benson Junction facility. Benson Junction is only a few miles north, and I was able to beat the train to the DeBerry Sunrail station. This is the northernmost station on the Florida DOT line, and CSX resumes their single-track ownership of the line from here on. Pulling into the Benson Junction pass track, A766 would drop the hoppers off for Conrad Yelvington just around the bend. I couldn't get enough of 766 and was back again for the third day in a row along the Aloma line. I had shown up around 4:30 p.m. and was quickly playing a game of catch-up with the local. Luckily, the 10-mile-an-hour speed limit left me plenty of time for a quick hike through the forest. I know I've proclaimed the bridge over Soldiers Creek as my favorite spot, but after this one, I'm not so sure. Most crossings in this area aren't protected by gates, but busy enough to warrant protection. This means the conductor must flag certain crossings. It's quite an advantageous trait of the branch line and allowed me to get ahead of the train in a mere 1,200 feet. This is where I lost the train 2 days prior, but I wasn't going to let history repeat itself. Before the train even stopped to flag the next crossing, I was gone. But as it turned out, all this rushing around was useless, as the crew had stopped at Pebble Junction to make a pickup. It was a quick one, and A766 was rolling by the auto train facility in no time. Knowing the train made a pickup at Pebble Junction, I was only expecting an extra car or two, but not this. Pebble Junction only receives rock hoppers, so I was a little confused when I saw additional center beams and boxcars. It appeared as if a totally different train had been added on. And then it hit me. This was the outbound consist from 2 days ago. I have no idea why, but there were now 2 A766s rolling through the auto train yard. And that's not all. In addition to today's train and the previous 766, the crew had picked up a huge cut of rock hoppers. Well, a relatively huge cut. The Monday and Wednesday Aloma local is usually only half a dozen cars, but after the pickup at Pebble Junction, the train had nearly quadrupled in size. Between today's consist, the previous outbound train, and a large cut of extra hoppers, 766 clocked in at 23 cars total. A766 had to stop just north of the auto train yard before proceeding across the busy A line. It was rush hour on Sunrail, and the local had a couple commuter trains to wait on. After Sunrail had cleared up, the dispatcher opened the gates for the Aloma local. Every time I've ever seen 766 enter or exit Rand Yard, it's been on the yard lead. Today's supersized local threw another curveball my way as the train made its way along the main line past the station. Entering Rand Yard from the main line meant the conductor had to throw a couple switches before doing so. As the giant local made its way into the yard and the storms grew even stronger, I called it a day. Thanks for rail fanning with me today, and don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video.